Hey everyone! This week we're wrapping up our series called Your New Playlist. It's about recognizing our mindset and using wisdom to change the playlist of thoughts running on repeat every day. And honestly, who doesn't love a good playlist? I have about 1 million different playlists on my phone. How do I decide which one to listen to? Well, it's usually based on how I'm feeling. If I'm mad, I have a playlist for that. Hey Siri, play something angry. If I'm sad, I have a playlist for that too. Hey Alexa, play something sad. If I'm happy, I have a playlist for that. Hey Siri, play something happy.
Bring me down.
If I'm chill, there's definitely a playlist for that. Hey Siri, play something relaxing. See, there's just something about how a good playlist connects with the way we feel. That's why we've been talking so much about playlists over the last few weeks. Not the ones on Spotify or Apple Music, but the ones made up of negative thoughts that get stuck on repeat in our minds. Today we're going to talk about what we can do when the volume on our feelings gets turned up so loud there's almost nothing else we can hear. Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing you do, because it's normal to have really big feelings about all kinds of things. It's like riding a constant roller coaster of emotions. One day, everything feels normal and calm, but the next, you're suddenly overwhelmed by all the things you're feeling every day. It's why you might get upset with your siblings. It's why you yelled at your step-parent when they wouldn't let you have a friend over. It's why you have a new crush every other week. It's why you're fighting with your teammates for the first time ever. You're feeling all the things all at once, right? And what about the more complicated, overwhelming feelings? The kind that seem to stick around no matter how hard you try to stop the playlist in your minds. Do you ever find yourself wondering things like,
will I always feel this way?
Why can't I stop thinking about this?
Will this ever get better?
Am I the only one who feels like this all the time?
For me, it's the last question that really gets me. I don't know about you, but when I'm overwhelmed by feelings like anxiety, worry, stress, fear, or sadness, I think I must be the only one. It feels like none of my friends feel like this. The adults in my life don't seem to struggle like this. Nobody in my small group is talking about this. We assume it's just me. Everybody else has it all figured out, right? Wrong. Just this week alone, I felt happy, excited, and frustrated. What about you? Think about all the feelings you felt this week. What have you felt at home, at church, with your friends? Stand up and stay standing if you felt frustrated this week. What about overwhelmed? Stand up. Stand up if you felt jealous this week. Keep standing. How about creative? Anyone feel creative this week? Stand up. Who's felt disappointed this week? You stand up too. Look around the room. Almost every single person is standing. There's a reason there's so many feelings on the feelings wheel. It's because we all experience so many feelings throughout our lives. All right, you can sit down. A lot of times we experience a ton of feelings all at the same time. Everyone struggles to navigate big feelings. Everyone has a playlist of overwhelming stuff they wish they could just turn off. That's the thing about feelings. We all have them, and we all struggle to believe that they'll change. Sometimes what we feel can seem like it will last forever, like we'll never be able to change the playlist on our feels. So, what do we do when it seems like we'll always feel this way? How do we change the playlist when our feelings are a lot to navigate? Remember, we all feel this way. And that's good news because it means that there are people who have been where we've been and felt what we felt, and we can learn from them. Some of those people are actually people we can read about in the Bible. Even thousands of years ago, the writers of Scripture were talking about the fact that feelings and emotions are all part of being human. This one guy named Solomon was known as the wisest man to ever live. except Jesus, of course. Solomon's story is told in the Old Testament of the Bible. He also wrote parts of the Bible, including Ecclesiastes. Say that 10 times fast. In Ecclesiastes, Solomon shared something that can help us navigate the playlist of overwhelming feelings in our heads. Take a look. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I mean, that pretty much covers it all, right? Solomon's words here are so powerful because they remind us of two important truths when it comes to our feelings. First, it's all normal. The ups and downs, the joys and pains, the highs and lows we experience. So when you find yourself experiencing any and all of the feelings that come your way, just know it's part of being human. Now, if that were all Solomon said here, it might not be very encouraging. But the second thing he says is super helpful. That's the fact that there's a time for all of it. In other words, yes, feeling all of your feelings is part of life, but it won't be this way forever. It's kind of like flipping a coin. We think we'll feel a certain way forever, but then we flip the coin and look at the other side. Our feelings are constantly changing, so we might feel differently tomorrow. There's a time to feel anger, and then there's a time for peace. There's a time for worry, but then there's a time for calm. There's a time for sadness, but there's also a time for joy. That really overwhelming feeling you might be feeling right now, that's okay. Just know that, as Solomon said, it won't always be this way. There's a time for all of it. There are two sides to the coin. So when that playlist gets loud, we can turn the volume down by remembering we won't always feel that way because feelings aren't forever. Now, maybe you're thinking, that's great and all, but what I feel now is a lot. While it won't last forever, what do I do with it right now? Great question. First of all, you can talk to God. Go to God in prayer with what you're feeling. Ask for help to turn the volume down on the emotions that are overwhelming you. Pray that God would remind you that feelings aren't forever. Second, talk to somebody you trust about your feelings. One of the best things you can do is open up to a trusted adult in your life, like a small group leader, a parent, or the adult who takes care of you. These people love and care about you. They're a safe place for you to process what you're feeling and find healthy ways to handle it while you're still experiencing it. I hope you'll start today by sharing with them. Finally, turn the volume up on a new playlist. When you get stuck on repeat with your feelings, try to change the playlist by focusing on what is true. Scripture is a great place to start. In the book of Psalms, we find all kinds of verses, poems, and songs that can help us remember what's true. Take a look at this one. I know the Lord is always with me. I will not be shaken, for he is right beside me. When you're worried what you're feeling will never go away, remember this truth. God is with you in all that you feel. So no, feelings aren't forever, but God will be with you as long as they are. And that, my friends, is a great truth to have on your playlist every day. As we close, remember that having feelings is a good thing. It makes you a living, breathing human with a heart, mind, and soul. Your feelings shouldn't be ignored, dismissed, or talked down to, because what you feel is real. But when those feelings get stuck on repeat in your mind at the loudest volume, it's important to know you can turn that playlist down. You can change the playlist by remembering God is with you. You can remember that feelings aren't forever. Now, as you head out today, think about this question. What's one feeling you've been experiencing lately?